Hello, Malaysia and around the world. Today is Malaysia Day, and we are thrilled to have with us Michael Tio, a true anak Malaysia, with a fantastic story to share with us. He's a true blues entrepreneur with an amazing story. Starting in UK as a student, he was already selling used cars. And when he came back to Malaysia from UK, he took over the family business, which then had a turnover of 2 million a year. But today, his PKT Logistics Group has a turnover of 800 million a year. He's the CEO of PKT Logistics Group. And not just that, he's a multi award winning entrepreneur with plenty of awards to talk about. And he's also an adjunct professor at two universities, at the University Utara of Malaysia and University Technology Malaysia. And that's really fantastic feathers to the cap. Now, Michael, let's dive into it and tell us about what your company is like right now.
This is I actually got two more adjunct professorship recently.
Wow.
One from UK and one from UPSI, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. So to answer your question here, how's PKT Logistics today? PKT Logistics, we had a vision to achieve R1 billion by 2020. And then because of COVID-19, I think we are not able to achieve that target now. But then again, talking about our progress over the years, when I came back from the UK and then until today, I think we have done a tremendous achievement. I think we have grown very fast over the last 20 years. So just give you a story about how the whole thing happened here is, I was asked by my parents to come back and take over this logistics business. So when I was deciding to leave the used car business, which I call it active income, I need to move into passive income. I want to be somebody like Richard Branson, somebody who traveled the world and then the business still grow and make tons of money. And along the way, I discover new business and I venture into new business and make more money. So this is what we call a passive income. So then when I decided to give up the used car business, if any business I were to go in, I need to build the company so that it can run by itself and I can travel the world and still enjoy my business growth as well. So then basically I have a crystal ball in front of me. I was looking at logistics industry. What is the future of logistics industry in this region? Not only Malaysia, I'm talking about the whole ASEAN as concerned. As you know that in Europe, we already had European Union. And at that time, when I came back from UK, Malaysia was going into ASEAN regionalization. So with the ASEAN regionalization, we will become United Kingdom, European Union, like UK as well. So I could foresee the next 20 to 30 years, logistics industry will be booming, and I have very big growth opportunities. So I think to take over the logistics business will be good at that time, so that I can scale the business to a level that I can imagine I will be in the future. So we grow the company from merely 2 million, and last year we hit 800 million. That was a big achievement for the company. But then again, in our company vision now, we were supposed to hit 1 billion by 2020. So of course, we cannot predict COVID-19. Nobody in this world could predict COVID-19, and we hit 800 million. It's okay. We have actually re-strategized ourselves, and then we are continue to. We just had our COVID transformation program, and now we are targeting to be bigger than that, because I believe every company, when they grow up to a certain level, they will always hit a psychology level of moving forward. All right. So I remember when we were reaching, when we were 2 million, we want to hit 100 million. So we reach a psychology level of 100 million, and then we need to do some sort of transformation where we move ourselves towards 500 million. And then from 500 million, we reach another psychology level, and then we had to do some transformation to go towards the direction of 1 billion. So when we are reaching 1 billion, we also reach a psychology level for us to pass that mark of 1 billion. So we came out with another vision during the COVID-19 transformation program to hit 3 billion ringgit by 2025. So that is how aggressive we are. And I think in every crisis, I think that is the best opportunity for us to re-strategize and catch up with our competitor and be the leader if you position yourself very well. Yeah.
So Michael, the name PKT, which must have originated from your family business of PK Pot Klang Trading, right?
Yes, not Pakatan. so actually what happened is the full name is Pot Klang Trading and Forwarding Agency. And then when I came back from the UK, and it was a partnership company between my dad and a few friends. So I decided to change it to Sendiri Berhad to make it more professionally run. So I decided to pick up the three words from the PKT side, because in the custom and in the market, I think everybody was using that PKT to refer to Pot Klang Trading and Forwarding Agency. So I decided to use the PKT and then put a word of logistics. At that time, I can remember nobody used the word of logistics in Malaysia yet. We coined the word to use logistics because I'm trying to emulate Malaysian logistics industry to be like in the UK, where they already have a lot of logistics company. And we had to explain at that time to all our customers what's the meaning of logistics. I still remember that time. And that is how where we started PKT Logistics. But today, everybody is using the same word, logistics. Even though they are doing transport, they will still call themselves logistics as well. So logistics has been heavily used already. So PKT stands for Pot Klang Trading. So when we move up the value chain, because when I say PKT continuously move up the value chain, we started with just a forwarding agent way back when I take over from my father, you know. So we were a forwarding agent. What is a forwarding agent? Basically, we custom clear for you and we have lorry transport to your place. That's all. All right. So then we move into 3PL. 3PL means third party logistics, where we own warehouses. From the factory, you send to my warehouse, and from my warehouse, I send to the customer, 3-party logistics. Then after that, when we learn about the model of Singapore logistics company, in Singapore, their logistics company is no longer doing 3PL. They are doing 4PL, 5PL, 6PL, and 7PL. So they are very high in the value chain. That is why Singapore is so competitive compared to Malaysia. That is why I always explain to the Malaysian people that we are actually only a 3PL company, the logistics provider in Asia, whereas our competitor Singapore is already 7PL. 7PL means they virtually buy the raw material from, say for example, if Mongolia produce a lot of lamb, then they start to make lamb curry. They wanted to export to Dubai, but the Dubai people will not buy a lamb curry from Mongolia or Xinjiang. The reason is made in China. So what they did is they cook this in a big bowl, they send it to Singapore, and they repack into the nice looking can and put the sticker there, made in Singapore or Malaysia or whatever. Then they can re-export back to Dubai and people will buy. So that is the difference. They don't move the box, they move what is in the box. So their involvement is procurement, where they spend money to buy the raw material, and they bring the logistics in, they do the packaging for them, and then they sell it for them. So they're earning trading margin as well, and the marketing margin. So that will become very high value. That's why they are so competitive compared to us, even though their salary is 3 times Malaysia, and then their land price is more than 10 times of Malaysian rent price, but they still can compete with us because they are doing high value logistics. So that is the difference between then and now.
So it's like some of the products from Israel, they're sent to Singapore and they repackage it and export elsewhere through a different country, right?
They can do that. That is their service that they are providing. So Malaysia, we are now also moving towards a direction. We want to produce that kind of service, because Naturally, Singapore has been no natural resources. So
Right.
they have been trading hub for a very, very long time. So their people have come up with a lot of innovation in terms of the supply chain of the logistics they can do. But Malaysia, we are very contented because we have a lot of natural resources. So our people are not really creative enough or innovative enough to bring our supply chain to higher. That is why a lot of MSC refuse to come to Malaysia, because they think we don't have that kind of know-how that we can do this kind of job for them. So that's why Malaysia need to move up the value chain. And then that's where our second topic later on coming in. Education is very important. Education in the logistics sector as well.
Michael, when I look at the figures, it says here that Singapore has got something like 200,000 logistics professionals. They have that numbers. But in Malaysia, we are short of capability, we are short of innovation, we are short of competitiveness. We are also behind, we are not very good at green technology. I understand that you're trying to produce professionals in logistics through a college that you're starting in Penang. Can you share with us your vision and why you decided to do this yourself? Was it because that, look, you're so frustrated, we can't find the professionals and we cannot take on Singapore, we cannot be an ASEAN logistics hub if we don't have these capabilities? Please share with us.
Yes, exactly. So we were growing organically, and then we were specializing in one of the sector, automotive logistics. So when I wanted to move away from automotive logistics into the fast-moving consumer good and F&B, all these are the big brand that you will be facing. Then we noticed one thing: most of the player in this market segment are multinational logistics provider. So the reason why they are multinational logistics provider is because Malaysia depend on foreign investment. So when these foreign investors come into Malaysia, they bring their logistics supplier into Malaysia as well. And then they continue to give them the logistics services. So they don't localize that logistics segment. So then when we go and ask them why you did not give us the logistics business, they say because you don't have the know-how. We don't have the know-how. So basically, meaning only the MNC understand the MNC manufacturer request. So the why we don't have the know-how, because we have been very traditionally, I told you before, is a folding agent. We only do custom clearance, which we is talking about human-to-human relationship between the custom officer and our local custom broker. And then transport is a very simple part of the logistics. When it comes to 3PL, where we deal with the factory and we deal with just in time, our people don't understand that language, which is when they say you deliver at 11 a.m., you deliver at 11 a.m. For the MNC, if you fail, all right, means they will charge you penalty for downtime. But Malaysian logistics provider, I earn you only 500 ringgit. If I deliver 1 hour late, you're going to charge me 10,000 ringgit. How can it be? You know, it's not fair. So all these kind of excuses. So because of that, they do not know how to talk to the local logistics provider. So then we also noticed one thing: we don't have know-how to handle them. So in order to create that knowledge, we need to start education. We need manpower that is educated. Otherwise, we had to headhunt those people, Malaysian, that is working for the MNC, trained by them, and already move up to a very high level. And if we were to headhunt them to work for us, we have a few things. We have a cultural problem. Our local Chinaman thinking culture will not fit into the MNC employees' culture. And then number two, their salary is very high. And then Chinaman, we pay ourselves also very little only. So when you employ somebody pay higher than your salary, you say, oh, you better take over my job. But then that is the mindset. So what we have to do is we have to change this mindset completely. So I decided to do a transformation in 2008, and these are the areas that we decided to penetrate in, including education. Because like what you say, Junwei, correct, there are 200,000 logisticians in Singapore. I just wonder, out of the 200,000, how many of them are Malaysian?
Yes.
I think you and me can roughly say that at least 50% are Malaysian. Okay, so if that's the case, they are actually employed by them and trained by them to become a logistician. So this is a problem with Malaysia. So we need to generate the supply of logistics labor force that understand logistics business, not really learn from MNC, because the price will be too high already. So if I looking at Singapore is 30 million TEUs. So let's look at total number of container they handle for 200,000 logistician. So Singapore is handling 30 million TEUs. Malaysia, we are handling about 20 million TEUs or 12 million TEUs in Central, 8 million TEUs in PTP port. When we combine PTP and Port Klang, it's about 20 million. So, but then again, if you calculate the total number of freight forwarder in Malaysia, there are only 2,000 freight forwarder in Malaysia. Out of the 2,000 freight forwarders, on average, Singapore calculate one freight forwarder will employ 25 employee. So 25 plus multiplied by 2,000, we are talking about 50,000 logisticians in the market at the moment. So in order for us to take over our neighboring country as well as logistics hub, the number must grow. So I give an estimate of, let's say, the number of TEUs moved from Singapore to Malaysia. We are moving towards the 30 million TEUs, then they will drop to 20 million TEUs. So we need to be positioned ourselves to 200,000 employee soon. Depends on how fast the movement of logistics player coming to Malaysia. You know, everybody knows. Temasek spent a lot of money using Mapletree to invest into millions of square feet in Malaysia in warehouse space to cater for their MNC customers. So then they shift the customer from Singapore to Malaysia, but Mapletree is the one who built the warehouse and rent to them. So they are already moving towards Malaysia, but then we are not the one that got this business. They are the one who still getting the business unless we change our mindset. So we tell the government, say that there is a mismatch in the industry here. We need to produce a lot of logistician. So if you minus 200,000, minus 50,000, we are lack of 150,000 logistician. So in order for us to be beat our neighboring country, we move to 30 million TEUs. They reduce to 20 million TEUs. We need to position about 200,000 employees. So in logistician, so 150,000 divide by, say, how many years? 5 years. Each year you're talking about 30,000 logistician must be produced. Don't talk about those Malaysian working in Singapore and other places. So just only for Malaysian market, 1 year you need 30,000 TEUs. If you don't beat them in 5 years, you beat them in 10 years, also 50,000. So if we calculate the whole market combined together, the polytechnic and the university together, we are not even producing 5,000 a year. All right. So we are in very short of logistician. So at that time, when we did the transformation in 2008, we tried to find out which other university do that. There is no university doing logistics course. They just started to talk about it. And then they only launched it in maybe 2008, because I can still remember the first graduate from UUN for logistics degree is somewhere in 2012. So, and this is how all is started. Then we say, okay, since nobody is doing it, we should be doing it. So, because then I started to study the history about Kuh and Nagel in Germany, and then Schenker, DHL, their background, their logistics institute, their logistics university. I say for the big gun, they move towards the direction of producing their own future employee. So Malaysia, there's no one specialized logistics university in Malaysia. So why don't I do it? So I decided to acquire a local college, and then I park a new campus out of the college in my hub in Shah Alam. So I built a lighthouse, which is big and then multi-story. Then I decided to have 6th floor rent to the college. Another 6th floor is our office. So now this concept is after I went for the Malaysian higher education blueprint announcement. So I was in the announcement by at the time Idris Yusof. So Idris Yusof announced the education blueprint, and then I was listening to the education blueprint and say that Malaysian graduate employability has a problem. So the reason is industry and the academic is too far away and they are not in together. So they say we must bring the academic closer to the industry. So then they say, then I decided to follow University Malaya, where they have their doctors teaching in the university itself. So if a doctor can be taught in hospital, why not the future logistician in the logistics hub? So I did a very bold move. I parked the college in a logistics hub. So you imagine in my office, there are staff moving up and down and also students moving up and down of the office. So we make it the first like a R&D, you know, research and development, where how can a logistics student study and work at the same time? So we created a program, we call it JBSB, Jom Bekerja Sambil Belajar. So while the student is studying, during his free time, he has like half a day class and half a day no class. So during the time when he have no class, he can actually work in the warehouse under our JBSP program. It's working, it's not internship. They are earning money. We give them 30 ringgit per shift. The shift start from 8:30 to 12:30 and 1:30 to 5:30. So they can either choose morning shift or afternoon shift. So while they're studying, the student already exposed in the working environment. So all this TVET that the government is talking about, this is a TVET institution where teaching in a working environment, we give them practical experience while they are studying. So imagine if they finish a diploma in 2 years, they will graduate with a diploma cert and they will have a CV from PKT Logistics to them so that they can go and look for a job and easily they can get a job in the logistics industry. So that is why I decided to venture into education.
Michael, when someone gets a diploma in logistics, so what are the career opportunities and openings that are available in this particular industry?
Diploma in logistics, there are plenty because you are that level, supervisor level, executive level. So you go into the logistics industry, you don't worry that you will be in the production floor or on the floor doing the picking and packing. Maybe you can do a bit of training for 1 year, 2 years doing the picking and packing. But after that, you will probably be in the management level where you're focusing on softwares, where you supervise and whatnot. So entry price for logistician, maybe for diploma is between 1,500 to 2,000. For all our graduate, we pay them 2,000 because they already got 2 years working experience. So then every year they will grow, and I tell you honestly, diploma graduate, their pays in the logistics industry jump very fast, and there is a huge demand for experienced logistician, especially when you come from a branded company, maybe like PKT. Then when people headhunt you, you get a very, very high price. And the top level are all 5 figures. Yeah. So when you hit the deputy general manager position, you are already on the 5 figures already. So that can be very fast. It can be like before 30, if you are very aggressive, if before 30 years old, you can hit a DGM position if the company keep on growing like PKT lah.
Michael, I want to expand a bit on this discussion to a broader basis. Of course, we can give a diploma, we can train professionals in this particular field. As we celebrate Malaysia Day, and as in being Malaysians, we like to talk about good things and just been happy and talk about the good achievements, and we are less critical about ourselves, which I think that we should, as you talk about being competitive. When we look at Thailand and Indonesia and even Philippines, okay, we look at the tourism sector, you can see that the way they approach the tourists, they see everyone coming into the country as customers. When you fly on board, for example, if you go to Japan, if you go to the airport, they address the passengers as customers. And that, but in Malaysia, we still call them penumpang, passengers. They're not customers, okay? So there's a different level of treating people. Now, if you go to Thailand, we know that the smiles are fantastic. Everybody smiles at you. They make you feel very good and happy. In Philippines, they are fantastic. And in Singapore, they are much colder, but they're competitive, okay? And that if you go to Hong Kong, if you tell somebody, I want this done, that is done by today, this evening. While in Malaysia, if you tell our secretary, we want this done, it comes in 3 days later. and we are always very forgiving and very tolerable. Okay, now we can give them certificate, but how do we get Malaysians to be competitive? Particularly with this COVID-19, we have plenty to catch up. How do we rise up the rank and say we got a killer instinct, we are competitive, we will knock you out? What's missing? Why is it Malaysians are like that?
I think we are very pampered. I think they are pampered. They are not competitive because they know they are staying with their parents. If they don't have a job, they can still rely on their parents. So this is all talking about teaching as well, from the house, from the home. Because I just attended the same meeting with the Japatan Polytechnic Malaysia, and we were talking about Malaysian student employability is a problem. And then we say that, well, there's a gap here, got a lot of jobs, but then here we didn't match them together. Then they say, oh, they don't like to travel anything above a certain number of kilometers to work. So that is our problem. So working attitude is one thing. Even traveling to work, they also want to choose already. Can you imagine if you talk about in terms of competitiveness, one person can do how many files per day? So that is a problem with our Malaysian industry. So, and also because maybe in terms of management skill, we are not good in motivating them to be efficient. So why? Because, for example, in Malaysia, one of the case that I like to share with all my listeners is say, for example, if I and my neighbor here working together in a company, so I was given 10 files every day. So I'm very hardworking. I finished 10 files already, and here she only finished 5 files. And then after she finished 5 files, I finished my 10 files. My boss threw me another 10 files. So then I thought, well, okay, my boss like me, give me more jobs. So I finished the 10 file, and she can't even finish the 10 files yet. So end of the year, then when it comes to bonus, both of us get same bonus. All right. So then I realized, hey, not fair lah, because I'm the one who always work. Pay also we get the same pay rise. Bonus also we get the same bonus. And then I do 20 files a day, and she do only 5 files, 6 files. Whenever the boss not around, she's on her Insta already. So then I find not fair. So at the end, I end up, okay lah, I also want to be smart. I also pretend to be working. So in the office, at the end of the day, everybody is pretending to be working. Okay? So because why? It's talking about fairness. It's not fair and whatnot. So because of that reason, we end up very inefficient. Okay, very inefficient. That is where I started to do one of my transformation, and we say that PKT is a flexi working environment. Once you finish your job, you can do anything you like. You don't have to pretend you are working anymore. So I say that. So that means once you finish your KPI, say for example, your 10 files for KPI, you finish your 10 file, you can go and lepak because your friend need to finish the 10 file. Okay, before I'm giving you the new job. Okay, so lepak means you can go to the gym, you can do something else. So the supervisor is not going to stop you there, so that the person will be jealous. Oh, the girl can go already, I also want to finish quickly. It's because they are behaving like children. Just imagine your boy, your children last time, you say, hey boy, you finish your homework, you can go and play basketball. I think that one he will finish in less than an hour. Go and play basketball already. So the feeling is the same. It's about how we evaluate the employees and how we motivate them to work. So this is how we did it. We have a different culture. We really think out of the box. PKT came up with fun working culture, healthy working culture, honesty working culture. Okay, you need to be honest about your work. That means how many files you need to finish a day. You finish the day, then only you can do other things. So we make it flexible so that we can see the real picture, who is really working and who is really not working, by making it flexible working environment. So now I think because of that, our efficiency level has increased. And how do we measure that ratio? We measure the total sales for all the logistics company divide by their employee. So we get revenue per employee. So compared to the average of the industry revenue per employee, and where is our position? And we show this ratio to our employee every year to explain to them where is our efficiency level. Today, this year, we are 1,000 people, and then we are hitting 800 million turnover. So every employee contribute about 80,000. I don't know, I'm not sure, about 800,000 per employee in terms of revenue, compared to the market 500,000. Okay, yes, we are more efficient than them. So this is how we look at the revenue employee ratio. That is how we actually push that. And also the honesty culture helps a lot, because people are start to be honest about their work, and then they are not pretending to be working lah.
Michael, one of the reasons why I started this Facebook live discussion was to encourage entrepreneurship, to showcase the success stories of Malaysian entrepreneurs. And I know that Michael, you and I share the same passion of the need to create more entrepreneurs. Instead of people looking for jobs, entrepreneurs create jobs, and they share the success story, how to be successful, how to be resilient, and how to add on more value to their lives. Now, you have been pushing entrepreneurship at all levels, at SOBA and at many forums. Share with us why you want to make more Malaysians to be entrepreneurs.
Okay, basically, I think due to the number of visits and the comments and the feedbacks from the public, especially all the entrepreneurs that was trying to scale their business, fail, and they look at us as one of the idol in the industry, that a company that can achieve such a high achievement from 2 million to 800 million, and very good, very low staff turnover and growth. So I think we have managed the formula to produce a very successful company, a gorgeous company to work for. And we have a lot of people waiting to work for us. If you go to Facebook, you can Google for search for PKT Talent Hunter. There are 20,000 people queuing to work for us. So much so that our HR, the KPI for recruitment cost is 0. So all our recruitments are done from the posting into the social media site. So this is the success. So I think what will we be if every one of the entrepreneur would have done what I have done? So I decided to provide the critical mass for change. So a company that showcase their culture, because one of the things that the Chinese entrepreneurs, Chinaman entrepreneurs don't do is producing good working culture. All right, so they all think about their pocket. You know, they make money for themselves, they travel the world themselves, and then they squeeze the employee and whatnot. So because of that, you don't have a good working culture, and then the society is not happy all the time. So then how to provide a critical mass for change? The only way I can provide a critical mass for change is to mentor a lot of young entrepreneurs to be like what I am, and follow my way of growing and give back to the society the way I'm doing it, so that our society will have a critical mass for change to be a better society, so that everyone will not be selfish. They make money, they keep to themselves, and they don't share it, they don't enrich the community surrounding them. What we did here is we have this ABIP program that is become award-winning program, and among all the visitors we have, they feel so proud to be associated with us. Even our customer, they are very proud to be associated with us because of our ABIP program, Anak Belajar Ibu Bekerja. So what happened is we have a lot of housewives that don't get a job, and most of them depend on single income, especially from the kampung area. One family got 5 children, husband is working in a low income job, and then the wife struggling every month to ask money from the husband, and then when it comes to talk about money, they start arguing. So I decided to create jobs for housewives rather than give this job to foreign worker. Okay, so I created this ABIP program, Anak Belajar Ibu Bekerja. So then we give job to housewife, and my housewife will replace the foreign worker, the casual workers. So then once we do that, then the housewife get job. So the housewife introduce another housewife, and all of them come here and get the job. So all the kampung, the community surrounding us get some employment, and their children graduate and also work for us. So because of that, we enrich the society. So because of that, they become very happy with us, and we provide the critical mass for change. And I think that is very powerful. I think rather than we give money to the school, we donate this money there. How much money can you donate every year? If you don't make profit, how? They still depend on your money. So I think it's sustainable social responsibility program is very important. This is sustainable. Once we provide a job for them, they learn a new skill, they may want to actually move on their life and become full-time working for another company, getting a better pay. At least they have new skill to learn from, and their life move on. So I think one of our success is PKT is no longer just only a logistics company. We are a socially responsible logistics service provider.
Michael, you mentioned that you're an adjunct professor in 4 universities, which means that you have direct access to students in our local institutions. Besides that, you are a great advocate of social media, especially Facebook. You utilize these platforms to reach out to the young. So you have this pool, very big pool of young followers and listeners, people who want to grow up to be Michael Tio, to be entrepreneurs. Many of our Malaysian young, many wants to be civil service. They join the civil service, and we know how bloated the civil service is. There's no way the civil service could keep on absorbing our students now. Now that you have reached our local university students through the campus and through the social media, have that been a shift in the minds of these students who says, look, I want to be a businessman, I want to be an entrepreneur, I don't want to be just another pegawai kerajaan. What's your take on that?
Yes, I do. I do have. You see, the thing is that I'm no longer just adjunct professors for logistics faculty. I'm actually adjunct professors in UMK for their business faculty, and other university also for business or engineering as well. So because I believe that my strength is not only logistics, my strength is entrepreneurship. So we have actually, I receive a lot of messages from Facebook followers, especially the young graduates who wanted to go into e-commerce and business entrepreneurship and whatnot. They say they want to be my mentee and whatnot. So I see there is a lot of shift into the entrepreneurship because they can see the excitement, they can see the value add that can create for the society being an entrepreneur like me. Okay, they want to do what I am doing now, where I can, whatever I do is an influence to the society as a whole. So I have given a lot of talks, and recently not recently, for the last 6 years, we have been giving this young social entrepreneur program. So we created Young Social Entrepreneur Program, or YS2P, together with Polytechnic Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah, where we launched this program for public polytechnic students to participate in the entrepreneurship program. Basically, I am just like the Donald Trump of the apprentice. So the difference here is they are raising fund. It's an entrepreneurship competition. They are raising fund for society, because I want them to be aware about the responsibility to the society from very young age. I don't want them to think about they want to be a rich and famous entrepreneur for themselves only and not enriching the society. So from the young age, we already train them. That's why we call it YS2P, Young Social Entrepreneur Program. So this YS2P is inter-polytechnic. All the students from all over 35 polytechnics of Malaysia and 100 over college community, they all participate in this program, and then they all raise fund for the charity of their choice. They have to come to see us in terms of bidding for us to select their program. And then after that, when they are selected, they were giving some fund. They go back and then they launch their business, and then they make money. 3 months later, I see them back again, and that is like the boardroom environment in apprentice, where I will talk to them and then select who is the winner. So every year we are having that competition, and this year we are having it with Polysas again. And this is what I see the changing game. Instead of everyone consider themselves to be the future employee, why don't they themselves also look at the possibility of being a future employer? But I also told them, very important is get your experience first, go into the industry, work for somebody, work for people, 2 to 3 years or 4 years or 5 years to learn how to manage a company, get yourself some cash flow, okay, earn yourself some cash flow, and then think about your entrepreneurship journey nicely, And when the time is right, when you are matured, you don't have to do it immediately. You can do it from 30 onward, because that is the time when you are still very aggressive up to 50. So between 30 to 50 is still the right time where you're working for people, learn from the experience, and then after that, get the contacts, and only you start your entrepreneurship journey. So of course, those people who want to start very early, they can still go in. They go into the e-commerce business, which is now quite easy to do e-commerce business as well. So I think the government is the right direction. They wanted to produce a lot of young entrepreneurs. They tell them, well, I don't think this year we can find job for you.
Yeah.
Two things that we should do for this year. One, you continue your study, get yourself more educated, more resourceful, more knowledge before you start your journey as an entrepreneur as well.
Michael, we talk about work culture, we talk about values. Now, I understand in your company you have 3 commandments. Can you share with us these 3 commandments in PKT Logistics Group?
Okay, 3 cultures. No, okay, we have 5 5H working culture. So originally, I started off with first we think what is the most important thing for every employee. So during the transformation in 2008, they decided health is important. So the healthy lifestyle at work is become our first culture. So number 2, beside health, what else do you want? So the employee responded, they want to be happy working culture. So I say that if you're going to be healthy and happy, so and then fun working culture, then might as well no need to work. It's easy, stay at home. So they say, no, Dato, I know you are joking with us, but then we are serious that we want to have fun working culture, but we promise you, whatever KPI you give to us, we will be honest about your KPI. So honesty culture was created. So we started these 3 cultures from 2010 until 2008, this year. So this year we adding 2 more culture, because this culture has been always preached my father. My father always say, hey, you all always having fun and happy and fun and happy. Nobody is working except me. I'm the most hardworking person in the company. So we add his culture into that 10 thing. And then one of the things they say, DMT, your company culture is there, but one thing that you outstanding, DMT, most outstanding in the market is you are very humble. Why you don't put your humble into your office working culture? I say, yeah, my staff are all very humble, same like me. We have 7 drivers in the company, 7 executives with drivers, and none of them sit at the back. Every one of them sit in front, just like me. They are following me. So then they decided, okay, let's put all this into our working culture. So we end up having 5 working culture. So we have to start from 1. First, you need to be happy. You need to be healthy in order to be happy. Once you are happy, you will be honest. When you are honest, you are hardworking. Okay, once you are hardworking, you will be humble. So that's how we came up with the 5H working culture of PKT. Now, working culture is very important for you to scale your business to another level. Why the MNC company are so successful? You go and read. They all have their own working culture. But the Chinaman style is no working culture. They squeeze you to the maximum. That is what they are doing. So that is the difference. You want to scale a business, you need to create culture. All right. So that is the working culture. But another thing is, the way I work is, of course, I always tell my entrepreneurs, because I used to train a lot of people, and some of them, they don't understand that once you train, why people become successful. When somebody tell you something, you become successful and continue to be successful because they appreciate the people that train them. But some people don't appreciate. They were seen by the market that somebody teach you, then they become successful, then they leave you, and then they say, oh, they are the one who make it themselves. And after that, another person saw that, then they stop teaching them. Oh, this guy very selfish. Somebody taught him before, and now he don't want to acknowledge that. So thou shalt not be jealous of others' success. Thou shalt learn from them and be appreciative. Thou shalt give back to society when thou is successful, without asking for anything back in return. If they can follow these 3 commandments of doing business, I tell you honestly, they will be very, very successful.
So Michael, I know that you will not be very popular among the Chinamen in town who believe that the practices are prudent management. Okay, Michael, the
But
obvious,
at the same time, they also fail to grow, Junwai.
yeah,
So when they fail to grow, they cannot understand why. Then they come and ask you. But then you know that they're asking. Some people, you know, their style. They ask already. They don't really want to acknowledge that you are helping him. You just ask, come and check, and then follow. So
mm.
then when they follow blindly. So then they go nowhere lah. Also no point.
Michael, you're charting through correct waters, I'm sure, very calm waters. Now, tell us about the ship in Penang, which is actually a fantastic, iconic building that's shaping up. Share with us your vision and why some parts of the buildings are named in certain ways.
Right. So what happened here is when I decided to go into education, the lighthouse, remember, I
Yes.
started logistics. So you know lah, logistics at that time nobody heard about that. Who want to sign up for logistics? So I end up having 3 courses in the lighthouse. We have accountancy, logistics, and business study. So at the first year of recruitment, we have 30, 30, 30. Second year, 30, 40, 30. Then after that, 20, 60, 20. And this year, we have 70% logistics, 15 accountant, 15 business study. So slowly it becomes logistics focused campus in the lighthouse. But then in order to go into education business, you must do totality so that you have the economics of skill to run a campus by itself. So I suddenly got interest into education, and I find education is very fulfilling when you are somebody who is looking for a sustainable CSR program, because education is very sustainable, because the person you help them is for their whole life already. So I decided to move into education in a bigger way. So when we were planning for the one auto hub in Penang, there was a plan to build a campus there inside a industrial park. So from 2014, when I understand the importance of teaching in a working environment, I decided to put the first campus inside an industrial park. So that means instead of people start a college and come up with a lot of courses, the students study, but they don't care about what the society need or what the industry need, then they cannot match, they cannot get a job. Why I did here is I put a campus right in the industrial park with the needs from the industry. What type of graduate you want, we will produce for you. And then we come up with the courses in partnership with University of Plymouth, and we bring all the courses in to make sure the students study and then they can get a job. So when I decided to do that kind of thing, so it's similar that how I penetrate into the warehousing industry. Those days when I started my first warehouse, I was doing a penetration game. I was the last comer among all my peers. So in order to penetrate into the industry, to wake up the industry, we must do something really out of the box. So I decided to build the first warehouse. I call it the ship. Then the second warehouse, I call it the wave. The third warehouse, I call it the lighthouse. And that suddenly wakes up all the MNC player. Hey, who are these players? I heard these are all warehouses. Let's go and see. Everyone come and see our warehouse. So when they come and tour, is seeing is believing. And then we make sure our service is tip top and our standard is very high, so that they can believe once they see that. So one of our marketing strategy is do not give a quotation until the big boss have come and visit us. If they want to buy a product and they don't want to see the product, they are just comparing the price, and at the end they will still give to their friend. So in order for us to do that is we attract them, they bring their bosses. When their bosses came and they saw our working culture and they saw all our CSR program, not only that, we have all the very nice logistics class, green warehouse and whatnot. At the end, they make a decision. This is the company I want to be associated with. Not only to give the business, but associated with them because I'm riding on their CSR program. Because all the MNC manufacturer, CSR is very important in their agenda. So then when they see us, we are creating value for them. So when I decided to penetrate into the education industry, the same thing I do is I am not the first player. In fact, I'm the last player. When the education industry is doing a consolidation, Then I decided, in order to penetrate, I must do something really out of the box. So in Penang, we decided to develop the One Auto Hub. So the 3 iconic building inside the One Auto Hub, one line, is the 12 wave. Of course, the 12 wave is our main business. That is the longest warehouse in Malaysia, the biggest single-story warehouse in Malaysia. So the 12 wave was very iconic. And also we have a Japanese garden. I want to tell you that. And it has the longest Japanese garden in Malaysia. So this is the first time in the world that inside a warehouse we have a Japanese garden for people to walk and whatnot. So that is another story by itself. It is CSR. I don't only focus on my business, the 3 Ps: profit, planet, because this is our green lung, and then the people as well, the community, the JBSB, the ABIP program to give job to all the community, no foreign worker inside the warehouse. That is what our target. So of course, we already have the iconic, the 12 wave. Then the next one is the campus. So the campus was conceptualized over a ship, because we wanted to replicate what we did in Shah Alam, the ship, the wave, and the lighthouse warehouses. So we wanted to do the same, the ship, the wave, and the lighthouse in Batu Kawan. So the ship become, actually my architect asked me, so you want to design it look like a ship, but it's not a ship. No. That is past already. Don't repeat the same thing. Otherwise, no thrill to all the people. So we decided to replicate a cruise ship, okay? A real cruise ship. So one of the Royal brand, Royal Caribbean brand. So we just see the design. I say no need to go and try to make it look like this and look like that. Replicate the same thing. We need to have a cruise ship in the land. So we make it into a cruise ship. All right. And then because our specialty will be maritime and logistics study, so cruise is very, very significant for it. So the whole interior will design over a cruise ship. So if you take the cruise ship, you cut into the half, the ship campus and any cruise ship will looks almost replica. We also have a grand promenade, a shopping center at the 4th floor. We have an auditorium at the hull of the ship, all right? And we have the deck in front of the ship deck, right? You can walk around, and next time you can actually have a birthday party, wedding party, all at the ship deck there. We turn on the light at night, it will sure look so beautiful. It is a real cruise ship on the land. So, and also we make it very interesting. There's a co-working space and there's a gym at the deck number 9. So in the cruise ship, I still remember whenever I go on a cruise, we always like to go to the gym because the gym is overlooking the sea and you can run and run and run and you don't get tired because it's a very beautiful view. So we decided the most beautiful view for the ship campus will be given to the gym. So we have a nice gym, library, we call it Francis Light Library, and then computer rooms. So the computer rooms is state of the art. I think you can actually, it's like the Pentagon. So we call it the Pentagon. We got three computer rooms: Pentagon, Battlestar Galactica, and also Planet Mars. So of course the Pentagon is the coolest. Like it's a facial detection. Detect your face, only the door will open. Then you go in. You are like inside a Pentagon office, like a spaceship like that lah. Okay. So I think that is the coolest thing that I've done. So the whole campus is all facial recognition. You go into the co-working space, they use facial recognition and whatnot. So one of the most interesting thing is we have an entrepreneur growth hub inside a ship campus. Now all the universities are now looking for entrepreneurs to set up their office in their campus, which happen to be in very outskirt area, in the jungle and whatnot. A lot of people build campuses too far from industry, and because of that, industry refused to be coming towards the campus. So now I build a campus inside the industry so they can come to our campus. So we decided to have an entrepreneur growth hub so that we can train, we can have consultation to young entrepreneurs that want to set up their startups. They can have a co-working space inside there. They can rent a suite, or they can have a hot desk, and then they can utilize all our facility, gym, the library, and the co-working space. And all our expertise can give consultation to them in terms of because we replicate one of the university in UK, the Growth Hub in Gloucestershire County, where the Growth Hub is financed by the local council, and their job is to teach and help all the SME entrepreneurs how to set up their company, how to borrow money from the bank, how to register this, register that, how to get in touch with these people and that people. And this is the Growth Hub that we have set up. It's a very unusual campus. So the SHIP campus is very, very cool, very iconic. If you pass through the second bridge, you will sure turn your head around and you will drive back one day and then go and take a picture of the SHIP campus. And we also predicted it will be a tourist attraction. So we now came out with a few tour packages for those NGOs, business association, whatever groups. You can actually visit the SHIP campus. There is a PKT tour inside the Facebook, or go into our page, can book for tour.
Okay, Michael, we're running out of time. We have one last question for you before we wrap
Okay.
it up. You have always been different. You have always wanted to try to be unique. You use the word out of the box many times. And you also said you love The Apprentice. You also said you love the Pentagon, and almost short of saying you love the White House. In Malaysia, most people do not like Trump, but you're a great fan of Trump, and you have made it very clear in your Facebook, your bet must be on Trump winning the elections. Can you tell us why you are different and why you love that man so much?
First of all, I think very clear cut, he's not financed by the military industry. He's not financed by the pharmacies and whatnot. So he is not he's not viable. You cannot pay Trump for anything. So when he has because the thing here is, those days we all worry about America currency getting crashed, American stock market is going to crash because America is a bankrupt country, until the right president came along and renegotiate for the trade deal to balance between Malaysia and China, between US and China. I think that should be the way. They should give the negotiation, and then they should balance the trade through a proper negotiation way. So you see that during Obama period, they set up the TPPA, Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. So this Trans-Pacific Agreement is exclude China inside. The reason here is they want to actually set up a new trade deal without China inside. And then China fight back with OB, One Belt, One Road. And then all this is the indirect embargo against China already. Because under the Trans-Pacific Agreement, zero tax between us and the US. Whereas for the China side, if you export to US, then you will be subject to taxes and whatnot. So this is what Obama did. But rather than beating around the bush, let's settle this once and for all between China and the US. Talk about the balanced trade, because America have given the Chinese chance to grow their economy over the last 20 over to 30 years. And their economy have reached a state that they have become richer than America. So now you have to look in a way of how to provide your neighbor so that they will not become poor and use their weapon in order to gain wealth. So this is the war that happened in the Middle East that I say, oh my God, this is really in the Bible already. The Middle East is going to die because they have oil, and these people are going to kill every one of them and take over using their prime minister and just suck the oil out of Middle East. So I think all this need to stop, including the last one before Obama left. It was Syria war, and the ISIS was created again. And then the ISIS came to Malaysia, want to threaten to they want to kidnap Malaysian businessmen to get ransom and whatnot. I say, what problem is this? Somebody need to stop all this kind of politics. So when Trump decided to take over, I think Trump will be the best candidate to take over, because in his manifesto, he is not being paid by anybody. So he stopped all the war in Middle East and pull back all their army, all right, to protect their own border, which is very important. But why you go to fight in Iraq when there's no one single American there, and then you lose trillions of dollars, spend money there, and then how you take back? Using George Soros and going around devalue people currency, crash people economy and whatnot. So, but anyway, so I predicted Trump need to win the next election because the stock market is behind Trump. So as you know, Trump has given a lot to Israel. The reason why he has given a lot to Israel, because the stock market is behind him, the Wall Street is behind him, the bankers is behind him. So the market cannot crash. So because the market cannot crash, we have a chance, our stock market, to ride on the same sentiment so that we don't crash during the period of recovery from COVID-19. So when the market is moving, that is how we jumpstart our economy. Exactly the same as 2009 when we were faced with the world financial crisis, our market dumped, and then after that, due to the stock market, all jump back again using the V-shaped recovery. So now we are on the V-shaped recovery, riding on the same sentiment. So we need that recovery. We cannot afford another crash in the stock market. Then it will take a very long time for our recovery. So Trump is very important to recover from this COVID-19.
So, Michael, now this is my final words. I hope that Trump will strike a deal with China and keep the markets flying all around the world. On that score, thank you.
Businessman, bro.
Thank you for joining us. Michael, thank you for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. It's a great way to celebrate Malaysia Day, to listen to to listen to a Malaysian like Michael sharing his views, his experience with us. And more importantly, remember to like, follow, and share Real Chunwai. Join us again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.